For more than a decade, To Catch a Predator has been etched into pop culture as one of the most controversial and talked about reality crime shows in television history. Airing originally on NBC's Dateline and hosted by journalist Chris Hansen, the show made headlines for its shocking sting operations, where unsuspecting men were lured to houses under the belief they were meeting underage teens, only to be confronted by cameras and law enforcement. But behind the scenes, not every participant in the production was fully comfortable with what was happening. Recently, revelations surfaced about one of the program's former decoys, young adults hired to pose as teenagers online and in sting houses, who admitted they sometimes wanted to break character and warn the would-be predators before they stepped into a trap. "I just wanted to tell them, go home. You don't know what's waiting for you here," the decoy reportedly confessed. Sometimes you could hear the desperation in their voice. It was hard not to feel conflicted. This statement has reignited debates about the ethics of To Catch a Predator and its long-lasting impact on television, law enforcement, and even the individuals who became ensnared in its operations. The role of the decoys. Decoys were an essential element of the show's setup. Typically young-looking men and women in their late teens or early 20s, they posed in chat rooms and instant messaging services as minors, often 12 to 15 years old. These conversations would then lure suspects to the sting houses, where another decoy would sometimes greet them at the door. Once inside, the would-be offender would usually be offered snacks, asked to sit down, or prompted into casual conversation, before Chris Hansen dramatically walked out to confront them with chat transcripts in hand. But for the decoys, this wasn't always easy. They weren't always monsters, one former decoy admitted in an interview years after the show's cancellation. Some of them were clearly troubled, lonely, or mentally unwell. You start thinking, shouldn't someone help them instead of humiliating them on national TV? The urge to warn, a conflict of conscience. The recent admission that a decoy wanted to warn predators before they entered the sting house underscores the psychological toll of participating in these stings. Imagine being 19 years old, sitting in a suburban kitchen pretending to be 13, while knowing that the man walking up the driveway is about to have his life ruined. On the one hand, these men were engaging in criminal activity. On the other hand, some were first-time offenders who might never have crossed the line had they not taken the bait. I'd hear their nervousness on the phone or in the chat. Some would say things like, "I don't know if this is a good idea," or, "I feel like I shouldn't be doing this." And part of me just wanted to scream, "Listen to yourself. Turn around. Go home before it's too late." But of course, the cameras were already rolling, and the police were already waiting. There was no going back. The ethical debate around the show. Since its first airing in 2004, To Catch a Predator has been both praised and criticized. Supporters argue that it shined a light on a terrifying and underreported issue, online child predation, at a time when the internet was still relatively new territory for law enforcement. The show's sting operations led to numerous arrests, convictions, and increased public awareness. However, critics have long argued that the show blurred the line between journalism and entertainment. By staging stings specifically for television ratings, NBC and Hansen were accused of prioritizing shock value over genuine justice. The use of decoys only added fuel to this debate. Were these young adults actors, journalists, or undercover operatives? Did they truly understand the risks and emotional burden of their role? For at least one decoy, the desire to warn predators shows just how ethically complicated the job could be. The human cost, for everyone involved. The show didn't just destroy the lives of the predators, it also left scars on those who helped produce it. Decoys, in particular, were forced to read explicit chat logs, sometimes for hours, and then reenact conversations in front of hidden cameras. Many later admitted that it was disturbing and psychologically taxing work. "It messed with your head," another decoy said in an old interview. "You're pretending to be a kid, but you're hearing these adults say the most disgusting things to you. After a while, you stop seeing them as just predators. You see them as broken people." At the same time, suspects caught in the sting often lost everything, jobs, families, reputations, before even stepping into a courtroom. The show became infamous for its viral clips of men breaking down, making excuses, or trying to flee. In one of the most tragic incidents, a Texas prosecutor caught in a sting died by suicide when police attempted to arrest him, sparking lawsuits and ultimately leading NBC to cancel the show in 2007. What this revelation means now. The confession from a decoy who wanted to warn predators brings a new layer to the ongoing conversation about To Catch a Predator. It reminds us that these operations weren't simply about catching bad guys, they were also about real human beings on both sides of the setup. For every man who walked into a sting house, there was also a decoy on the other side of the screen, struggling with the weight of what they were helping to orchestrate. And for viewers, the show continues to raise difficult questions. Should reality TV be used to expose and entrap criminals? Do sting operations prevent crime, or simply create opportunities for humiliation? How do we balance justice, public safety, and compassion in cases like these? Chris Hansen's legacy in the Predator series today. Chris Hansen has tried to revive the Predator format multiple times since NBC canceled it. From YouTube projects like Hansen vs. Predator to collaborations with independent groups like Takedown with Chris Hansen, the formula has remained the same: lure, confront, expose. But the world has changed since the mid-2000s. Online entrapment is more controversial than ever, and law enforcement is increasingly cautious about collaborating with TV crews. Yet the fascination endures. Millions still watch old clips of To Catch a Predator on YouTube, treating them like a mix of true crime and dark comedy. For the decoys who once sat in those sting houses, however, the reality wasn't always entertaining. It was messy, confusing, and morally ambiguous. Conclusion. The revelation that a To Catch a Predator decoy wanted to warn would-be predators to go home is a stark reminder of the moral gray areas behind one of television's most infamous shows. While the series exposed predators and sparked national conversations about online safety, it also pushed young decoys into psychologically taxing roles and blurred the line between justice and spectacle. At its core, the show asked viewers to watch the downfall of men caught in a moment of weakness or predation. But behind the scenes, some participants quietly wrestled with whether that downfall should have been prevented altogether. In the end, To Catch a Predator remains both a cultural touchstone and a cautionary tale, proof of how far television will go for ratings, and how even those tasked with catching predators sometimes struggled with the humanity of the people they ensnared.